I'm going to use the Rush-In ability to switch with Snorlax, retreat into Cinderace VMAX, and we have enough energy to use Bullet Breakthrough to knock out this Cryogonal. For one more fire energy, we get to use GMAX Fireball, knocking out this Kyogre. And since we can't attack this turn, I'm gonna rush in, retreat back, and we get to use GMAX Fireball one more time against this Volcarona V, knocking it out. And finally, one last rush in to get that attack restriction off, and then we get to use GMAX Fireball for the last time for the win. Hello everyone, my name is Joseph and welcome back to the Popsicle Night channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please take a second to click the like button if you like this video or hit the thumbs down if you don't. Also, if you enjoy the contents of this channel, please subscribe if you haven't already. This video is sponsored by PTCGO the best place for you to get PTCGO code cards. Are you looking to complete your Pokemon card collection online for the latest set? PTCGO has everything you need. Please use my code NIGHT22 at checkout so you can get a 5% discount. Help yourself out with the discount, and thank you for helping support the content I create in this channel and for helping out PTCGO. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at this combination featuring Cinderace VMAX from the Fusion Strike set with Solgaleo, and finally I get a chance to showcase the single strike scroll of Piercing. While Cinderace VMAX is not as well received as Inteleon VMAX, I think this one is actually a pretty decent card. First, let's take a look at the new Cinderace V. This one is a single strike Pokemon with 210 HP, 2 retreat cost, no resistance, and is weak to water. It has 2 attacks. The first one is Flare. For 2 colorless energy, it deals 50 damage. I actually like this attack because if you do end up going first, on your next turn to attack, as long as you have a single strike energy attached, you can KO smaller Pokemon with 70 HP or less. And its second attack is All Out Shot. For 1 fire and 3 colorless energy, it deals 210 damage, and during your next turn, this Pokemon cannot attack. This is a pretty strong attack which has the power to one-hit KO any Pokemon V in the game. And its Gigantamax form is Cinderace VMAX. It is a single strike Pokemon with 320 HP, 2 retreat cost, no resistance, and is weak to water. It only has 1 attack, GMAX Fireball. For 1 fire and 3 colorless energy, it deals 230 damage, after which your opponent's active Pokemon becomes burned, and then this Pokemon cannot attack on your next turn. While the attack cost is a bit expensive, but with enough single strike energy attached, Cinderace VMAX can deal as much as 330 total damage in a single turn, which includes the 20 burn damage. The fastest way to energize this attack is of course by using Houndoom with a single strike roar ability, which can accelerate a single strike energy from the deck to any one of your single strike Pokemon. However, it does inflict 2 damage counter on that Pokemon. But the most annoying part of Cinderace's attack is that you can't attack on your next turn, and sometimes with a lot of energies invested on one, it can be very difficult to set up 2 Cinderace at a time. I'm sure there's a simple way to get around this, but I wanted to experiment, and I thought of using Solgaleo with a Rush-In ability. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the bench, you can switch it with your active Pokemon. So the strategy is that after Cinderace VMAX attacks, on your next turn, Solgaleo can just use its Rush-In ability, and with Air Balloon attached, you can just easily retreat Solgaleo back to Cinderace VMAX, this time with the attack restriction removed. So with this combo, you can technically attack for a lot of damage every turn. And if you need to, it also has the attack Solar Geyser. For 2 colorless energy, it deals 100 damage, and you attach up to 2 basic energy from the discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. The only problem is that Solgaleo is a stage 2, which makes it a bit challenging to set up in every game, but if you do set it up with the help of Rare Candy, the game becomes a lot easier for sure. And to make this build even more unique, I'm actually utilizing the single strike scroll of Piercing. This allows your single strike Pokemon to use the move Bullet Breakthrough. For 1 fire and 2 colorless energy, it deals 120 base damage. While the attack damage output may not seem much, but in combination with the single strike energy, the damage output of the scroll can increase significantly, even allowing you to 2-hit KO most VMAXs in the game. But what makes this scroll interestingly good is that this attack damage is not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, so you don't have to worry about those pesky Pokemon with damage immunity and whatnot. The downside, however, is that this scroll is not affected by weakness or resistance, so if your opponent is weak against fire, the attack of Cinderace from this scroll will not be doubled. However, another positive thing about the scroll is that it gives you an option for an attack that costs only 3 energy instead of 4 for CINDERACE VMAX. I did add a single strike Urshifu V in this build just in case we face off against water type matchups or any Pokemon weak to fighting. And SOLGALEO actually combos really well with Urshifu V's impact blow attack also, so that you can technically continue to attack with it every turn. This is because if you pivot in and out of the active spot, it removes the attack restriction imposed by the effect of Urshifu's attack. I also added a full set of heat energy for Cinderace, which increases its HP by 20 for each of these attached. I was a little torn between using Path to the Peak Stadium versus the Tower of Darkness Stadium. Either one of these would work, Path to the Peak with its powerful disruption, or Tower of Darkness for an extra drawing power. As for the other cards worth noting, I am using 3 Urn of Vitality for recovering our single strike energy, and I'm using Snorlax with the Gormandize ability. This is more preference, but I think a copy of Crobat V wouldn't hurt having in this build as well. And because of the lack of supporters in this build, I actually appreciate the addition of Pokegear 3.0, which allows you to get a supporter card from the top 7 cards of your deck, making it easier for us to find our supporters in our deck. And finally, I have Skyla just so it's easier for me to get rare candy to evolve SOLGALEO or find the scrolls. And that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay. Alright, so the versus ladder is interesting, but you know what? We're going to take it up a notch and bring my build into a standard tournament online. See how it fares. I've had a few games already in standard tournament and I've lost twice, so this is my 3rd attempt to win the whole thing. It's an 8-player match. So we're going to start off this game with a single strike Urshifu V in the active and 1 Houndour. I have a good deck. I don't know. I don't know what he means. Okay, you have a good deck. Okay, so he has an Umbreon V in the active. So we are both playing a single strike deck, I guess. Not sure what he means by that. I don't know if he knows what my build is all about, but we're gonna try and win this. So obviously my build is a little bit of a rogue deck more than anything else. And it looks like they're using an Umbreon V and also a single strike Urshifu VMAX build as well. They discarded an Umbreon VMAX, which is actually really interesting. Although, you know what? If they have Ordinary Rod, they can just easily get that back from the discard pile. But I think their priority here is to set up their Houndoom line and get a Crobat V to draw into more cards. One change I did make to my build is add 1 capture energy. It's not always useful every game, but having at least 1 allows you to bench 1 basic Pokemon for a turn. So not only does it energize Cinderace VMAX, but it also allows you to bench 1 more basic on the bench. So I added 1 capture energy to my build. So we have Evolution Incense, so we can evolve into a Houndoom, and we can actually knock out for another single strike energy. We can knock out this Umbreon V for 2 prizes. Let me use Skyla to get a Quick Ball, and then I can probably get rid of this, and I think I'll just get a Snorlax. We need more drawing power here. I'll sacrifice 1 Houndoom and use their Tower of Darkness. Okay, we get a Marnie, so that's good. And I'll just knock out their Umbreon V for 2 prizes. So what a way to go for our first match in this tournament, being able to take 2 prizes in the very beginning of the game. And yeah, RNG does play a big part on PTCGO, or at least the Pokemon trading card game in general, because we could have easily used Cinderace V. I have 3 in the build, but being able to start with a single strike Urshifu V is another story, right? You won't always start with the featured card that you have in your build. So at least we're taking out we got 2 prize card to start the game, so that's actually really good. They're gonna boss my Snorlax, which actually helps me out because now I don't have to retreat my Urshifu, because I couldn't attack this turn anyways. because there's no way for me to retreat. I'll just attach that. That might come in handy, and I'll just boss one of their Houndooms. If they can't retreat this, then it's gonna get stuck there for a little bit. So I'll just use Gormandize. Hopefully I can get a Cinderace. Okay, there's a Capture Energy. And that's what I mean with the Capture Energy, you know. I only have one because, again, having two is great. But I think having more Fire Energy is a lot better because Cinderace V or Cinderace VMAX is dependent on having a Fire Energy to attack. And even the Scroll of Piercing requires a Fire Energy. So missing a Fire Energy and having the Capture Energy in its place is still not a good trade. So I only added one Capture Energy. So at least now I can attach that. Let's see, I wonder if I can attach it to Houndoom, because I can attack with Houndoom as well. But for sure, we're gonna take Cinderace into consideration here, so we can start setting it up. But they are gonna Marnie, so I'm gonna miss that. I'm not gonna be able to use the Capture Energy now. Okay. So I'll just put my Snorlax. They can easily knock out my Snorlax. Let me get rid of that. Okay, we got Cinderace from that Tower of Darkness, and then I'll just use Path to the Peak. And then I'm gonna start accelerating energy on my Cinderace V. I'm gonna use Professor's Research. Okay. Get Cosmog, another heat energy for our Cinderace V. And then I'm just gonna attach this there. Gormandize. All we need is we need a rare candy to evolve in Solgaleo. We're almost there. And Solgaleo is actually, again, it's a free retreat. Even with Snorlax having that 3 retreat cost, we can easily retreat out of it using the Rush In ability. So they have another single strike Urshifu V, but they can't place it anywhere on the board. They're going to use Professor's Research to just discard it. Man, they're just bleeding a lot of cards. But anyways, I did trade in my single strike, or the Tower of Darkness Stadium for Path to the Peak. I feel like Path to the Peak is a little stronger now that I think about it. You could go either way if you want a stronger drawing engine, but Path to the Peak just turns off a lot of abilities, which goes a long way. They're going to use Beatdown to knock out my Snorlax. And let's see, how much HP? I think I'll just use Single Strike Urshifu. They only got 1 prize off of that, so we can sacrifice 2 prizes and do a lot of damage against this Urshifu VMAX. And they only take 2 prizes for that, so should be okay. Okay, I'm just gonna use Marnie. And here lies the problem again with the Solgaleo. We got the rare candy, now Solgaleo is in the bottom of the deck. And that's what I mean. I don't know. Solgaleo is good, but it doesn't always work. Just gonna attack here for 200 damage, 220 damage against Urshifu, so we can just knock it out in the next turn. So what I'm thinking is just retreat, probably discard the 2 single strike energy, because we can always recover that with the Urn of Vitality, and then just finish it off with Cinderace. So Urshifu, my opponent's Urshifu VMAX only has 50 HP left, so we can easily knock it out with even just by using the Flare attack with Cinderace. So not too bad. If they do end up setting up their Umbreon VMAX, first of all, it can't use the ability because we have Path to the Peak. but it's only going to be hitting for 100 and... Okay. Why are they... Oh, okay. Okay. Alright, they're just stalling this point. So what I'm going to do is just sacrifice 1 heat energy so I can retreat my Snorlax. And just finish it off with the scroll of piercing to knock out their Urshifu VMAX, getting us 3 prizes. And now Umbreon's gonna be in the active. I don't know if they're gonna be able to knock out my Urshifu V actually. I think they will be, because with enough energy they were able to use Urn of Vitality, and so they should be able to attack for enough damage to knock out my Urshifu V. But that's okay. We have Cinderace V to attack, and with all those chip damage done to Umbreon VMAX, we can actually knock it out with Umbreon VMAX. All we need to do is evolve into Umbreon VMAX, and what we need is Urn of Vitality. Yeah, we have 3 energies left. That's what we need. Let me just get Cinderace VMAX here. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna use Bullet Breakthrough to deal some major chip damage against yeah, let me just thin out my deck. Yeah, Bullet Breakthrough for 160 damage, so we should be able to knock out this Umbreon VMAX in the next turn. And I think that's what makes the Scroll of Piercing really great, because now with Cinderace VMAX, we don't always have to worry about using the GMAX Fireball. It's really strong, but we should be able to survive an attack from this Umbreon VMAX. All we need is 1 more prize, so really, even if they retreat back, we can just easily knock out any of their Pokemon at this point. We just need 1 more energy. They're going to use Max Darkness for 220 damage, but not enough. And we actually get a boss from the top deck, so we can just boss any of their Pokemon. Let me use Urn of Vitality. I can get the Single Strike energy, and I could just finish this game with a GMAX Fireball. And, oh man, my opponent's not going to let me do it. Alright, it's time for the next match. Oh no, this is not going to be good. Looks like my opponent is Water type, and the Cinderace VMAX build just does not go well against Water type builds. I just get clobbered with Water types. The last tournament I lost to a Inteleon VMAX build, which is really bad. The old Inteleon VMAX. Not only does it remove energy, it also hits for 160, which easily knocks out my Cinderace VMAX. But no, this is actually not a Water type. We are going up against a Malamar deck, but it's not to be underestimated. It's one of the top tier single prizer cards because it can hit for a lot of damage. So I'm just gonna start setting up my Houndoom line here, and I'm just gonna Gormandize. So at least we have 1 energy on Cinderace so far. We can accelerate Fire Energy and start attacking. And we have another Houndour. So one of the most important thing to keep in mind when going against a match. So we're in a tournament right now, and really our main goal is to win the matches, right? Although I'd like to showcase my Cinderace VMAX, we do lose a lot of prizes if I evolve into a VMAX, because Malamar can easily hit for hundreds of damage if we're not careful. So what I'm gonna do here is actually do my best to use Cinderace V, but I might have to use a different strategy going against this Malamar. So knowing your opponent's cards and also their build makes a big difference. So what I'm gonna do is just energize my Cinderace for the meantime. Hopefully they don't have a boss, and I don't know. I'm gonna take a chance here. I'm just gonna use Flare to knock out their Chinchino line, one of their Chinchino line, which actually helps out by reducing the amount of cards they draw into. So at least we get one prize ahead of them for the meantime. They might be able to knock out my Cinderace V, but what I have in mind is the Evolution Incense. So if we can get another Houndoom, we can accelerate 2 energies onto one Houndoom. And since Malamar is weak against Dark, we can actually knock it out with just 2 energies using Houndoom. So it has a base attack of 50, but with two single strike energies onto it, we can actually hit for 180 damage against the Malamar. So again, knowing your opponent's card and also their weakness, and okay, they're gonna attack, and there it is, 200 damage easy with just 5 cards that they have to put back into their deck, and it gets refilled with all the prizes that they gain from that. So that's one of the things that you just kind of worry. I have 2 single strike energies that I have left in the deck, so that's good. So I do need an attacker to kind of fall back onto though, but for now I'm just gonna knock out this Malamar. So that's one less attacker they have on hand, and they haven't built up an Inkay to attack this turn. So we should be okay as long as we can keep up. I have boss. All I have to do is knock out another attacker on their next turn. And man, I wish I could just knock out that Octillery though, because that's what's getting them a lot of the Rapid Strike cards. So there's their Inkay. At least if we can get if I can use this boss to get that, knock it out with Houndoom, we should be okay. We can even knock out this Chinchino. Okay, they're gonna boss. Who are they gonna boss? That's okay. We have air balloons. So RNG also plays a big part in a lot of your games. So there's so much to consider really in a lot of games. Oh, they're gonna attack for 40 and energize their Inkay. Okay, I'm for that, but I'm just gonna boss this Inkay. I could have knocked out the Chinchino, but I think I'm gonna go for the Inkay. So let's knock that out. That's one less attacker we have to worry about. 3 more prizes to go. And looks like Houndoom is gonna carry this game for us. I know this is a Cinderace VMAX build, but you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do to really adapt to your matchup. You know, my opponent's using a single prize build. They only lose 1 prize each time we knock out their Pokemon. So we're gonna match that with Houndoom. We're gonna just take as much prizes as we can with Houndoom and go from there. Because really, this Malamar build is very dangerous. They can easily take 2-3 prizes with a single hit. So just gotta be smart with it, and you just have to adapt. Just gonna use Marnie here. That's gonna give them 4 cards, but you know what? We need it. We need to set up. We need to set up more Houndooms, and we needed this Urn of Vitality actually, so that we can set up another Houndoom to attack. So I'll just do that, because if they end up knocking out my other Houndoom, that's gonna be it. Let me get this Cosmog. Maybe that will come in handy. And let me use Single Strike Roar once more to accelerate onto my other Houndoom, and we're just gonna knock out the Cinderace because we are hitting for 90 damage thanks to the single strike energy, and we get a Houndour, and that's actually very helpful because now we can set up a third Houndoom, well, a second Houndoom, because now our active is gonna get knocked out, but at least we have 2 more prizes to go while our opponent requires 4 more prizes. So if they manage to, they're not gonna be able to use boss because they just use Bruno. So they're not gonna get 2 prizes this turn. They're gonna knock out my Houndoom in the active, but we have a replacement, and then we can start setting up our other Houndour on the bench, and we just need another Urn of Vitality to get 2 more single strike energies from the deck and be able to attack for a lot of damage. And really, we only need 1 single strike energy on Houndoom to knock out a Malamar. They're gonna hit for 2, but they have enough. They have so much cards on their hand right now that they can knock out VMAX probably. I mean, we can probably stall a few more turns here. I'll just use Darkness Fang to knock out this Malamar. That's 1 prize less we have to worry about. But now if they have a boss here, they can boss my Cinderace V, get 2 prizes. And then we don't have any way to draw into more cards. So if I pivot into Snorlax to draw more cards, that's gonna allow them to take the last prize. So really, if they knock out my Cinderace V, that's gonna be a big difference. But no, they're just gonna attack my my Houndoom. Okay, so that's 1 prize. Gonna pivot into Snorlax. You know, at this point, I'm just gonna evolve into VMAX because we're gonna lose either way. If they have a boss, we're gonna lose. So let me just energize my Houndour, put that there, and I'm just gonna Gormandize. Okay, we get an Urn of Vitality and an Evolution Incense. That's perfect. Dude, that's perfect. So if they manage to boss, we're gonna lose anyways. So I'm just gonna play it out as much as I can. But if they don't have enough Rapid Strike card on hand, they might not be able to knock out my Cinderace VMAX. That's what I'm hoping for. But if they do have a boss, that's gonna be game. But if they don't, I'm gonna use Skyla to switch my Snorlax out of the active. So I'll get a switch. Hopefully I still have one in the deck. No, they're just gonna attack my Snorlax, and I think that's gonna be game. 160. Okay. Yeah, that's I hope this is game. Alright, we got an Air Balloon. They may just use Urn of Vitality to get a single strike energy. And I think okay, great. We have Houndoom in the deck. And there's the scoop, man. That was a close one. Good game. All right, on to our last match. Unbelievable. We're actually getting through. You know what? The Solgaleo line, after playing some serious matches, I don't know if it's going to work out. It does work in some casual games, but if you really want a fast setup, I don't think Solgaleo is gonna help much for the Cinderace VMAX. So I think I would recommend just replacing it probably with more Switch and probably Bird Keeper, and you're gonna be fine. And just switch your Pokemon in and out of the active, and still be able to attack with Cinderace VMAX for a lot of damage. And we are going up against a Gengar VMAX build. So again, another neutral matchup, which is actually really great. I do have Single Strike Urshifu V, which may actually prove to be useful against this matchup. But they are getting a lot of good cards here. They're just getting all the cards that they need. They have the VIP Pass, which allows them to get basic Pokemon onto their bench right away. And they're starting up pretty strong, to be honest with you. So we get a boss from that. I was hoping for Marnie, but instead we got Professor's Research. I'm just gonna stall here. I'm gonna Gormandize. So by bossing the Houndoom, it's either they attach an energy onto it to retreat back, but at least they're not going to be able to attach manually attach an energy from their hand. And now that they evolve into Houndoom, it's going to be a lot harder for them to retreat it. And okay, never mind. They have Hiding Energy, which gives Dark-type Pokemon free retreats. And so there it is. And they can accelerate 200. And they have Professor's Research. Man, they're just getting all the cards they need. And that's what I mean with RNG. When I play tournaments online, it's always like that, you know. It's sometimes you get all the cards that you need and easily win against your opponent. But sometimes it's the other way around. You don't get what you need, and your opponent gets all that they need. And yeah, sometimes it automatically lets your opponent win sometimes when they just get all they need. And like coin flips with the Crushing Hammer, sometimes you get all tails while your opponent gets all heads. It's really frustrating. Makes you think that the game is unfair that way, you know what I mean? But yeah, they're gonna use GMAX Swallow Up, knocking out our Snorlax for 310 damage. My goodness, they're showing no mercy at all. So I'll just use Path to the Peak. Single Strike Roar. And hopefully I can get another Houndoom here. We can attack. Alright, cool. We get a lot of Evolution Incense. We can set up another Houndoom. I can attack for 160 damage. Can set up another Houndoom line for our next turn. But we are using our last Single Strike energy. So I'm going to hit for 160 damage. And again, with RNG, 2 of our Single Strike energy is prized. So now we have a little bit of a drawback here. So once, I mean, at least their Gengar VMAX can't attack again for 300 damage, and they can't use the first attack because that one relies on how many Pokemon V or GX we have in play. And since we have nothing, they can't really attack. But now with the Hiding Energy, they can just retreat. If they have a switch, they can switch back and just knock out my Houndoom. If not, we should be okay. And I think, and that's one of the challenges when I showcase the Gengar. The challenge is really pivoting in and out. And you know what? Gengar can actually make good use of a Solgaleo as well. Now that I think about it. Gengar VMAX is just like Cinderace VMAX. It can't attack twice in a row with that powerful attack. So I'll just get another Houndoom, which is going to be very helpful. But you know what? With only 2 Single Strike energies in the deck, it's not going to be good. So we get the stage 1 for our Solgaleo. We might be able to use that later on. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of just stalling, actually. We don't have any drawing cards right now, so I'm left to just retreat and use Star Protect. Oh, come on. I need heads. I need heads. So if they retreat this Houndour out of the active, they can knock out my... okay, they're gonna Marnie. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Because all they need is like an energy or a switch. Then they can knock out my What is that? Cosmoem with their Gengar for 300 damage. But they have to think twice now because we have an energy and they don't know we only have 2 single strike energies in play right now. They don't know that, so they might be holding back 2. And they definitely don't want to attack with the Gengar VMAX because we can easily get 3 prizes off of that. So especially with that 1 energy attached onto our Houndoom. So I'm just gonna stall. Oh, come on. Come on. I need heads. But it does help that we don't have any Pokemon V in the bench right now. Again, I'm just adapting to our matchup here. And yeah, my opponent's just stalling. Yeah, we only have 1 single strike energy. But I need to stall. Okay, we get heads. So at least we are free from damage here. It doesn't matter if they switch and then if they choose to attack, they're not gonna damage our Cosmome. But yeah, we're just playing the waiting game here. I need a drawing supporter card here. I have a lot of Marnies and I still have Professor's Research there. Gonna use Cramomatic. Okay, they get Tails. And they're gonna pass. Okay, we get Marnie. Alright, we get Marnie. I could bench one of my Cinderace V. Use this before I use Marnie. That way I am sure that I have a single strike energy in the deck. Then I'll just attach this on Cinderace V. I have Quick Ball. I could get Urshifu V, which can hit for weakness against their Gengar V. So I'm just gonna Marnie. We drew into the single strike energy, which is fine. I'll just attach it on Houndoom, I guess. Air Balloon, and if I could just boss that dude, man. 120 damage. Yeah, I'll just stall. Oh, another Tails. Come on. Okay, so what's the playthrough here? If we can get a boss, we can boss that Gengar, knock it out. Okay. We need more supporters for sure. At least now we can use the stadium. Okay, they're just gonna Marnie for us. So this has become a waiting game because now if they end up attacking, if they don't have a boss, we can knock out their Gengar if they're not careful. We get a boss from their Marnie. Oh my goodness, we get a boss. We get our first 3 prize. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. But we do lose our Urno Vitality because if they manage to knock out my Houndoom. Okay, they're gonna attack. Fear and Panic. 360 damage hitting for weakness. Because we have 2 Pokemon Vs in the bench. But now, their Gengar VMAX will get knocked out. Hopefully I can get support cards from my prizes. Or at least single strike energies, man, for real. Just having 2 in play or in the deck is just terrible, man. Because that reduces the energy acceleration that we need for our other Pokemon to attack. So with the capture energy, I'll just get Snorlax, which can help us draw into more cards. And with their stadium, we don't get much. So I'll just use Bullet Breakthrough here with our Houndoom, knocking out this Gengar. And that's gonna get us 3 prizes. We do get a single strike energy finally. So now we have 3 to recycle. Man, Houndoom can actually go all out on its own, man. I'm, you know what? I'm gonna build a deck just using Houndoom and using the scroll of piercing, man. It's insane. So okay, we are 3 prizes down. We just need 3 more prizes to go. We can knock out this Gengar VMAX. We have Boss's Order. We already have 1 energy on our Urshifu V. We just need to attach the single strike energy, and we need Urn of Vitality, which our opponent is using now, because we can easily accelerate that with our other Houndoom onto our single strike Urshifu, and we should be able to knock out their Gengar VMAX with a single hit. But we need Urn of Vitality, because if they end up knocking out my Houndoom, that's gonna be that's gonna discard all those energy. So we have 1 Urn of Vitality on the discard pile, so we should have 2 more. Hopefully it's not prized. I didn't even check. But we have all the elements on hand right now. And yeah, to be honest with you, Cinderace VMAX, there's really not a lot of Pokemon weak to it. I mean, right now, the only other grass Pokemon that's being played a lot is Leafeon VMAX. So that could be a good matchup, especially it's getting really popular with the release of the V-Star, Leafeon V-Star. But other than that, that's probably the only good matchup. You know what? They're gonna use Gengar V, but doesn't even make us sleep. So we're okay with that. Okay, we still don't get Urn of Vitality from that. So I'll just attach this. Unfortunately, I will have to use Marnie, but I think we have another boss in the deck. So if I use Marnie, we can't knock out Gengar V with a Bullet Breakthrough attack, because we're only hitting 460. Gengar V has 170 right now. If I use Marnie, get Urn of Vitality. You know what? I'm just gonna... I have 8 cards left in the deck. So if I can use the stadium one more time, we might be able to draw into the Urn of Vitality. Because I really want to save this boss. If we do end up getting knocked out here, we should be able to... knock out their Gengar VMAX. So it all comes down to your Urn of Vitality, and I can even retreat my... oh dude, they're gonna target my Urshifu V. No, no. This is not good. Oh, dude, Fear and Panic only does 120 damage. We survive. We survive an attack. So now, okay, we have a chance now to preserve our Urshifu. I think I can just deal a hefty amount of damage on this Gengar VMAX with my Houndoom and start building up my Cinderace VMAX or V. We have 1 more energy, no more boss, so I'm gonna preserve this boss. And I think if we just use Bullet Breakthrough, deal 160 damage, we should be able to attack for a lot of damage in the next turn. So they're gonna make a choice here. Either they... they're just gonna knock out Houndoom, and I think that's gonna be game, man. That's gonna put 2 of our single strike energies in the discard pile. And you know what? I can just use Cinderace to knock him out. So here it is. I'm just gonna use Marnie, and that should get us our Urn of Vitality, unless it's the last card of the deck. Please don't. Okay, we do get it. So we get Urn of Vitality. We're just gonna get the single strike energies back to the deck. We're gonna accelerate that to Cinderace V, and we get to finish off this tournament with our Cinderace V. All out shot, bro. It's not Cinderace VMAX, but you know what? That wins us the tournament, man. That counts. I will accept that. Now we're going to start off with the Houndour and also Cosmog to go into the bench. We do have the full line of Solgaleo, and we have Rare Candy as well to evolve into it. But going second, we have Professor's Research, which I'm probably not going to use because that's going to discard my Rare Candy and Solgaleo. But at least we have Pokegear 3.0. That's going to allow us to search another supporter card, hopefully in the top 7 cards of our deck. And maybe we can find something that doesn't involve discarding of our other cards. We get 1 mulligan, and we get another Houndour from that, which is really good. You do want to set up your Houndoom line early on in the game because that's going to help you accelerate really quickly towards your main attacker, which is Cinderace VMAX or Cinderace V. And my opponent is going to start their board with the Galarian Articuno V, and they also have Genesect V and a Hoopa V. Okay, this build might be centered around Hoopa V, which is actually really great right now, especially going against the top tier metas builds, because we got the Rapid Striker Urshifu VMAXs running around, also the Single Striker Urshifu VMAX, and also it's strong against Mew VMAX because it has 2 typings for its ability. I wonder if you use, if you do use Path to the Peak, it's gonna cancel that ability out. So really, it just becomes a plain Dark type Pokemon. So let's use Pokegear here. We do get a Skyla, which is, I don't really mind that. And I think I'm just gonna get a Quick Ball, and that's gonna allow me to set up for my Cinderace V. Not much else I can do here. I really didn't want to use Professor's Research because that's gonna discard a lot of the cards that I really want to retain on hand right now. Unless they do Marnie me, then that's gonna be really bad. They are discarding a lot of cards though, but it does allow them to draw 1 more card because they only have 2 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play right now, so Genesect V can only draw up to 2 cards. Alright, so they pass it on to us. We have Heat Energy, but now I can't really use the Quick Ball, so I'll just evolve Solgaleo for now. I'll just sacrifice this so that I can get a Cinderace V, attach that, and then use Professor's Research. Okay, we get an evolution for Houndoom, which is really good. And then I could probably use that. Let me just accelerate an energy on Cinderace. Get this. Maybe I can use the Tower of Darkness. Oh, we get another Houndoom. Okay, good. And we can even switch our Cinderace in the active. But we can't accelerate enough energy though at this time. So I think I'll just switch my Houndour, but I have Solgaleo, so I can switch out of the Houndour easily. And even if they knock it out, then we can attack with Cinderace V. We also have Boss's Orders, and so we can start picking off their Pokemon. And Cinderace V is actually really powerful on its own, even without evolving into a Cinderace VMAX. It can hit for a huge amount of damage. So if you have 4 Single Strike energies on Cinderace V, you can hit up to 290 damage, which is insane, just for a V Pokemon. Actually, Cinderace V on its own could be very powerful. If you have just like Karen's Conviction or something like that to increase the Single Strike attack, depending on how many prize cards your opponent has already taken. Yeah, Cinderace V can just be very powerful on its own. So they're gonna take a knockout on our Houndour using their Hoopa V, but now we're gonna take a vengeance here and be able to knock out their Hoopa V. I'm just gonna Marnie, get another attacker to put on our bench. I could just discard that to draw into more cards with our Tower of Darkness. I'm just gonna use All Out Shot here to knock out this Hoopa V. get 2 prizes. We won't need the rare candy. We do get more energies, which is really nice. And so what's gonna happen here is I discarded the single strike Urshifu V because I think Cinderace V can be well off on its own in this matchup. We don't really need the Urshifu at this point because it is weak against Hoopa V, so I don't want to put that in harm's way. At least Cinderace V can tank some hits here without having to worry about weakness. Although they are building up their Genesect V, which they can easily knock out our Cinderace V because it has less than 200 HP right now. Even with the heat energy, it still has 100 and something HP. So they're gonna knock it out this turn. And then at least they haven't built up their other Pokemon, so that means we can take a free hit, a free knockout on our next turn because we have Cinderace V set up on the bench. All we need to do really is to use Skyla and get Earn Vitality so that we can get those single strike energy from the discard pile. And then we can just accelerate energy with Houndoom and be able to attack. But we're not gonna have enough energy. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, yeah, we can. Because we are hitting for weakness. Genesect V is a metal type. So with a single strike energy attached onto it, we can accelerate 2 single strike energy with our 2 Houndooms. And that's gonna increase its first attack to, what's that? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 110 times 2, that's 220 damage. 200 damage, knocking out their Genesect V. Wait, why is it 200 damage? Oh, because of their Oricorio. So Oricorio decreases the damage received by 20. So that's why we only hit it for 200 damage. Alright, that makes more sense. But now they are building up their Hoopa V, but I don't think they have any other way to accelerate 2 more energies onto it. Unless they have, I don't know, they have Raihan or something like that. Accelerate an energy. I'll bet that then they still can't use Alessa Sparkle in the same turn. So really they can't attack this turn. And that's gonna allow us to, oh, they're gonna boss. But that's okay. It doesn't matter if they boss. We have Solgaleo to use Rush In, Retreat. I think Solgaleo is actually pretty good. I really like the ability. And that just, it's basically an unlimited switch if you think about it. And Solgaleo would be great for any build, to be honest with you. Although its only weakness is Galar Mine, which increases the retreat cost, so the whole combo with the air balloon really doesn't work. So we get a boss's order. We can actually just finish off this game. We have boss. We can use Solgaleo to get the Cinderace V out of the active. And then we can just boss one of their Genesect V, which is weak against fire. And then we can knock it out with our Cinderace V. All-out shot for 520 damage, hitting for weakness for the victory. Awesome game, man. We didn't even have to transform. Alright, moving on to this next match. We are up against a single strike Urshifu V and VMAX build, I suppose. And I feel confident putting my own single strike Urshifu V on the bench. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Again, another neutral matchup. As long as we don't run into any water type builds, we should be fine. I was leaning towards adding more single strike Urshifu V, but you know what? It does kind of defeats the purpose of showcasing Cinderace V because true, it becomes like a team, but I really want to just center my focus on Cinderace VMAX. Although I would rather have something to go against a water type matchup more easily, but it is what it is. It's another build for another time, I suppose. But for the meantime, we're just gonna Marnie here, and I'm just gonna attach an energy. We can evolve into Houndoom and finally accelerate one single strike energy, and I'm just gonna use Flare to do 70 damage on their Urshifu. I don't think they can attack this turn yet because they don't have two Houndooms set up. So the least they could do is attach an energy, and even if they do evolve into a Houndoom, they can only accelerate one more energy. They're just gonna use Laser Focus to add 2 more energies on their active, but that's not gonna do much because we can actually knock out their active with our Cinderace V. So I'll just use this level ball and start setting up my Solgaleo line. And I'm just going to use Marnie for the meantime. We get another Houndour, which is great. I would have liked another energy, but we didn't get it, but that's fine. And I think it's enough to actually knock out this guy with a Bullet Breakthrough, which is really great. That gets us 2 prized cards. And that's what I like about the Scroll of Piercing. It might not look like much for 120 damage, but when you do add those single strike energies, it actually becomes very powerful. You can hit up to 140, 160 damage, which pretty much 2-hit KOs a lot of the VMAXs in the game. So if you just keep adding those single strike energies, not only can you just hit through any defense, it's really great as a standalone, especially with Cinderace VMAX. It only has 1 attack, and then you can't attack the next turn. At least this one, you can hit for a lot of chip damage for just a single, for that 1 attack, for only three energies. All right, we have heat energy. We can actually transform into a Cinderace VMAX here. So I'll just get that. Again, they cannot accelerate another one. So I'll just use GMAX Fireball, I think, to knock out this single strike Urshifu V. We have a switch, which is really great for pivot, and a heat energy, which is really great. So we don't have Solgaleo set up yet, which is really bad. And that's the only thing I've noticed. It is a great combination. Ideally it is, but realistically it's very hard to set up sometimes with all these pieces kind of that you have to kind of put together. But all in all, it works out fine. I think this turn we can even yeah, there's no way they can energize their Urshifu this turn. I don't think they have to have 2 Houndooms at least to even attack for 180, and that's not even going to be enough to knock out our Cinderace VMAX. But they retreat, doesn't matter. We have boss on hand, so we have all the cards that we need to actually win this one, and that's all they're going to be able to do. I'm just going to use switch my Cosmog into the active. It's the only one with 1 retreat cost, and I'll just use the heat energy to sacrifice to be able to retreat. And all I have to do is boss their single strike Urshifu with GMAX Fireball for the win. 290. That's 310 total damage against single strike Urshifu V. Man, good game. Moving on to the next match, I'm going to start off with a Cosmog in the active. This is a bit of a scary start because Cosmog only has 60 HP, and really it's just there for support even when we transform into Solgaleo. We do get a Houndour from the top deck, so that means we get to set up 2 with the help of the level ball. At least we can attach this air balloon on Cosmog so we can retreat it. I'll just use Skyla to get a quick ball and get my Snorlax, get rid of this. Then we can easily retreat our Cosmog so that we can use Gormandize to draw into 4 cards. So at least we have that. Okay, we get Solgaleo, we just need a rare candy to evolve into it. But really, the setup for this build is prioritize your Houndoom so that you can accelerate Cinderace, and of course, setting up your Cinderace as well. But yeah, consistency-wise, this build hasn't been very kind to me. That's why it's been taking me a while to kind of get the right videos for this build. Because, first of all, when you do this kind of builds, you do want to showcase a lot the idea behind the strategy. But when you don't get to set up your Solgaleo along with the Cinderace, it just kind of messes everything up. And you end up just keep battling until it works out, but sometimes it just doesn't. So, alright, let's use Pokegear. We get a Marnie. Just use this to get my Houndoom. Evolve that. We can start accelerating energy. So we are up against a Jumpluff line, and it's just really scary because they might be able to just knock out all of our supporters in the bench. Although it is weak against fire, so we need to set up our Cinderace as soon as possible. But we're not getting anything here. Our hands are just terrible, man. We are just getting really bad cards here. I wonder if I could just use this Pokegear to lessen my hand size. Gormandize for another 4. Okay, at least we get a Urshifu V. And another Houndoom to evolve into. But this is really scary because now my opponent can just evolve really easily with their Skiploom into Jumpluff. There it is. They can just evolve just like that. At least the scroll that they're using right now is the Scroll of the Skies, which is the Grav Drop attack, depending on how much energy your opponent has. This is kind of scary though, because if they do pick off our Houndooms are weak against grass, and they can attack twice, so they can just easily just knock out our Houndooms one at a time, and that's very scary. Okay, they have Crobat. I mean, if I start attacking with Houndoom, you know what? Houndoom is actually really good. After battling so much, I've been using this build for so many battles that I found that Houndoom goes really well with the Scroll of Piercing. And being able to attack for 140, 160 with Houndoom is actually really good. Alright, there's the Scroll of Swirls being attached to one of the Jumpluff lines, so that spread damage is going to start soon. So I'll evolve into a Houndoom. And I have Quick Ball. I can finally set up my Cinderace V. And I'll probably just discard my other Snorlax, I think. And it doesn't really take much to knock out their Jumpluff, so I'll just use Marnie here. We get a Single Strike Energy. So we need the Fire Energy for sure, so I'll just attach that. And actually before I do that, I'll have to use Single Strike Roar and attach the energy, Single Strike Energy onto Cinderace V. I always worry about the sequencing part because sometimes when you don't think about it, like you see here, we drew into another Single Strike Energy with the Gormandize. See, if we didn't use the Single Strike Roar before we used Gormandize, if all those energies go into your hand, it's going to be a lot harder for you to accelerate energy with Houndoom, especially if you don't have Single Strike Energy left in the deck. So sequencing does matter with this game, and it takes a lot of practice for sure to get it right every game. So it takes a lot of experience, a lot of practice to know exactly what you need to do, and you really need to think about a few moves ahead before doing anything. But I sometimes do rush into things and make a lot of mistakes, and you know, as with all of us, we do make mistakes. But you have to be careful, especially if you're in a serious match. But now they're going to start to attack, but Snorlax doesn't have any energy, so they're just going to attack normally, attacking 60 damage twice, but not enough to knock out our very bulky Snorlax. So I'm just going to switch into my Cinderace V, and we can actually knock out this Jumpluff with a single hit because we are hitting for 70 damage, and with that weakness, Jumpluff can just get knocked out. Good attack now, but I'll just attach an energy, and I might as well just evolve, because if they have another grab drop, we might not survive. So I'll just use the breakthrough attack with the scroll, knocking out the Jumpluff. And yeah, the scroll of piercing is actually really good, especially against less bulkier opponents, non-VMAX, which is actually really good because we can constantly attack with Cinderace VMAX every turn for 160, 180 to even 200 damage every turn, with the help of the single strike energy increasing its attack damage output. So really, the scroll of piercing can go through any type of defense. It doesn't matter if you are Duraludon VMAX, doesn't matter if you're Decidueye, anything like that. It's not gonna matter because we can just get through all their defense. And potentially you can 2-hit KO any Pokemon in the game. 1-hit KO the weaker ones, and 2-hit KO VMAXs in the game. So really strong scroll. Only now is, I'm realizing how good it is. So not much our opponent doesn't do much last turn, so just gonna Marnie here. Okay, we get another Houndoom, which is good. And I don't really need to accelerate any more energy, and I don't want to put any more damage on Cinderace VMAX. So I'll probably just use Bullet Breakthrough here for another prize. So we're taking one prize at a time, that's the only thing. But if they can find a way to knock out our Cinderace VMAX, it's an easy 3-prizer for our opponent. Although we can use our Houndoom to continue to attack our opponent, but again, if they're hitting for weakness, Houndoom can just be taken out easily with their Jumpluff because they're hitting for weakness. So this is what I mean with the Solgaleo line. It's really great with this build, but sometimes you just miss the mark of getting the cards that you need at the right time. So we have the rare candy, now we don't have Solgaleo. And then when we shuffle this, we're gonna have Solgaleo but no rare candy. So I think if I add the stage 1 for Solgaleo, I think it's gonna help. There it is. Oh my gosh. There goes our Snorlax. Oh no. They're hitting for weakness, but you know what? Houndoom has 130 HP. So if they can attack regularly for 60 damage, that's 120. They can knock out one of our Houndoom. But no, they're just gonna attack, and that's gonna knock out my Cosmog. And so, oh man, rip to our Solgaleo line. So I'll just accelerate an energy here to knock out my Houndoom to get it out of the active. And that way I can get my Cinderace VMAX into the active. We'd lose one prize off of that, but at least we can take out this Jumpluff for one more prize. So we're taking this slowly, but we're gonna play this smart. At least they haven't set up another line of attackers, and we are just gonna continue to knock out whatever comes into the active. So we can easily knock out this Passimian, and for another energy we can just knock out their Crobat V. Actually, yeah, one more energy we can knock out the Crobat V, even with a Bullet Breakthrough attack. For some reason, they're not setting up their another Jumpluff line. Not sure. I mean, they have the Grab Drop, the Scroll of Skies. They can attack with Passimian, but it's not gonna be enough to knock out our Cinderace VMAX. They're gonna use Boost Shake with nothing to evolve. So I'm just gonna continue to use Bullet Breakthrough, knock out another Pokemon, and we get another Cinderace V, which is great. Although all they need to do is knock out my Cinderace VMAX to win, but it has a lot of HP. We can add more with the Heat Energy to our Cinderace VMAX, so we should be good. I mean, Octillery can attack for weakness, I guess, but they'll need a Rapid Strike energy to attack. Okay. They also have Zero RV. They attach an energy. But for that attack to effectively damage one of our bench, they need to attack here with a rapid strike. With a rapid strike Pokemon. Okay, they don't attack, so that means we can actually survive an attack from that Zero RV. And let's see. Can set up another Cinderace V. Yeah, I'll just go with the Cinderace. Just maybe try and set up another Solgaleo line. Not that I don't think it's gonna matter. I'll just knock out this Octillery for another price. I think we have this game in the bag. Yeah, even if they attack with this Zero RV, it's not gonna attack any of our bench Pokemon, and it's only gonna deal. Let's see, with the Grab Drop, 160 damage. Ooh, that was pretty close actually. Pretty close, but you know what? GMAX Fireball for the win. 310 damage with the burn, winning us the game. Cinderace VMAX didn't receive as much attention as some of the other VMAX in this set, but this one is actually not that bad. It took me a while before sticking with a build that I was actually happy with, but it worked out. While this build is not as fast to set up compared to some, it truly packs a punch. And Solgaleo does help with the pivoting to reset the attack, but I have to admit the stage 2 setup becomes more cumbersome than anything else. It can work, but probably adding more switch or maybe Bird Keeper would work better. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this build, and while the win rate for this build is a bit low, especially there's a lot of water type Pokemon in the higher tier meta, this has been the most consistent build that I have so far for Cinderace V and VMAX. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicle Night channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.